of August 19, 2015 order at 7 p.m. Before we start, briefly, we had an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss some personnel issues and contract matters, and no action was taken, but we did discuss those items. So I want to call the meeting to order. We're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. We all rise. Lead us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, does anybody on council have a preliminary announcement? Mr. Brennan?
I do.
You have the floor, Mr. Brennan.
Thank you. I'd just like to, I'd like to apologize for my emotional outburst I had at the last meeting. It was a very emotional meeting, and I want to apologize for my actions. I was very emotionally involved in the conversation, and I certainly did not intend to bring any malice or any disheartening feelings to anyone on council, and I just wanted to make my sincerest apology to all my Munhall family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Do you have any other preliminary announcements? If not, roll call. Becky?
Councilman Bell?
Here.
Councilman Shield?
Here.
Councilman Bonneville?
Present.
Councilman Brennan?
Here.
Councilman Fox?
Here.
Councilman English?
He's excused.
Councilman, President Boyd, I'm sorry.
Present. We're going to start tonight with a presentation of awards with our volunteer fire department number 1.
Members of council, Mayor Bodner, Deputy Chief Coles, Police Chief Campbell, borough employees, distinguished guests, and residents of Munhall. 20 years ago, the borough of Munhall and Munhall Volunteer Fire Company number 1 suffered one of its most tragic events. On August 5th, 1995, at approximately 1:18 in the morning, a resident of Munhall called to report that they had smoke in their home on Scotia Way. Volunteer firemen from station number 1, station number 2, and station number 5 were alerted of the incident. 7 volunteer firefighters responded to Munhall Volunteer Fire Company number 1 and boarded their 1974 Mack fire truck as they had done so many times before. Little did they know that the events of that morning would change their lives forever. While responding to an emergency call, the fire truck experienced a mechanical failure and quickly went out of control, colliding with several parked vehicles on Martha Street before jumping in an embankment on 8th Avenue, and then rolling several times, finally coming to rest in a grassy field, which is known today as Big Lots parking lot. Firefighter Isaac Bomey, Dale Cannon, David Cherma, Robert Granddaddy, Scott Mazel, and Philip Ostrowski were all hospitalized as a result of this incident. Firefighter William S. Marks answered his last call that morning. Marks gave the ultimate sacrifice to his family, friends, brother firefighters, and most of all, the community he loved so much, Munhall. Today, we the members of Munhall Volunteer Fire Company number 1 are here to honor not only a fallen comrade, but the 6 other firefighters that took the final chaotic ride with firefighter Marks that early morning. On behalf of the members of Munhall Volunteer Fire Company number 1, and in honor of the 7 firefighters on the truck that morning, we would like to present the residents of Munhall and Munhall Borough with this plaque in honor of the 7 firefighters who were injured. We ask that this plaque be placed in the Borough building for all of the residents to see. The plaque reads as follows. On August 5th, 1995, at 1:27 a.m., 7 firefighters from Munhall number 1 responded and boarded their 1974 fire truck as they had done so many times before. Little did they know the morning events would change their lives forever. Firefighter Isaac Bomey, Dale Cannon, Dave Cherma, Robert Granddaddy, William Marks, Scott Mazel, and Philip Ostrowski quickly responded. While responding to the call, the truck went out of control, flew over an embankment, and rolled over several times before coming to rest in a grassy field. Firefighter Ike Boney, Dale Cannon, Dave Cherma, Robert Granddaddy, Scott Mazel, and Philip Ostrowski were all hospitalized as a result of the accident. Firefighter William Spence Marks answered his last call that morning. Bill gave the ultimate sacrifice to his family, his friends, brother firefighters, and most of all to his community. Always remember the 7 firefighters that were on the truck that morning for what they are, heroes.
Thank you very much.
We're not done yet, man. We got one more.
Okay.
Need to do it.
Okay, we'll put this back.
Okay.
I'll get it.
All right. We actually have 2 presentations we'd like to make today. The first one was in honor of the 7 firefighters that were on the truck that were all injured as a result of that accident. Munhall firefighter William, or Bill as he liked to be called, grew up in the Still Valley area. He attended grade school at Walnut Street Elementary and then attended Munhall High School, where he graduated with the class of 1964. Bill was a religious man and he regularly attended services at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Homestead, and usually only missed services if he was on a fire call. In 1968, Bill began working for the Carnegie Library of Homestead. This was the one job he loved more than firefighting. At the time of his death, he had worked at the library almost 28 years. He started his library career by assisting with gymnastic classes and soon became an instructor for gymnastics and swimming lessons, along with teaching several sign language classes to both adults and children. When Bill turned 18, he jumped at the opportunity to become a volunteer fireman with Munhall No. 1 and quickly became an integral part of the fire hall, answering over 150 calls every year. And in most cases, he was the first one at the station when the siren sounded. Bill always had a special place in his life for children. During the summer months, when the weather was warm, he would open the fire hydrants behind the fire hall so that the neighborhood children could cool off. Anyone who grew up around the area of the fire hall during that time will never forget the showers. As Bill would call it, he also would never deny any child the opportunity to see the fire trucks. During the summer months, if you stopped by the fire hall, you would find kids lined up outside the door just to get a chance to sit in the company's fire truck or ambulance, and Bill was always there to orchestrate it. Bill was very active with the company's yearly fire prevention training and took place at several of the local schools. He would use vacation time from his jobs to ensure that he assisted instructing the children in fire safety. He became so well liked that he was known by the children as Fireman Bill, and they remembered him from year to year. Along with working at the Carnegie Library and volunteering with Munhall Fire Department, Bill worked during the school year as a crossing guard for Munhall Boro, ensuring that the children of Munhall were safe as they crossed the busy intersection of 12th Avenue and McClure Street. In 1985, having served for 20 continuous years as a member of the Fire Hall, Bill was bestowed with the title of Life Membership, a title that only 1 out of every 15 people who join the fire department ever receive. With this title comes the opportunity to relax a little in the company. You're no longer required to attend official trainings or to make required percentages of calls or weekly drills. Bill did not look at this title as the opportunity to relax. He knew that his community still needed him, and he never skipped a beat and continued to respond to every call possible. On the morning of August 5th, 1995, Bill's pager activated, and as it had done so many times before. Bill quickly heard the call for help and unselfishly sprang into action. He got dressed, ran to the fire hall as he usually did, making it there before most of the other 6 people that were on the truck that morning. Bill climbed on the tailboard of the fire truck as he had always done. That morning, Bill left behind his mother Helen, his brother Wayne, his sister-in-law Christy, his godson Christopher and nephew Nicholas, his brother Robert, his brother James, his sister-in-law Vicky, and nieces Jennifer, Jessica, and Jamie. Bill knew the risks associated with being a fireman and knew that every time that he answered the alarm, that it may be the last time that he saw his family. Like every firefighter, Bill understood the risks and doing this for what he loved. On the tragic morning of August 5th, 1995, he gave his life, like so many other firefighters had done before him, protecting his community. For the last 20 years, the members of Munhall Number 1 made an incredible effort to make sure that William Marks' Bill memory lived on. This effort has come with a lot of help from not only our community, but our brother firefighters in Western Pennsylvania. Today, several memorials can still be found around the borough. The very one that was completed the day after the accident was the fact that we sealed off Bill's gear locker at our fire station and turned it into a permanent memorial. Shortly after the accident, a cross was placed at the intersection of 8th Avenue and Martha Street. This cross can actually still be standing there today, 20 years later. When the development started on the former mill site where the truck came to rest, we approached the landowners to name the road after Bill. They agreed, and today if you were shopping at Big Lots or Rite Aid, you were on William Marks Drive. In 1997, the company dedicated its brand new fire engine in memory of Bill, and the plaque was placed on the fire truck in his memory. Following the accident, the members of Munhall Number 1 felt a more permanent memorial was needed, and a memorial park was actually erected in front of the fire station, and a memorial stone placed there for all the residents to see. Today, when you enter Munhall Number 1 station, you will still find that the members of the company bear the numbers 8595 on their fire helmets, which stands for August 5th, 1995. This is to remind them not only of the tragic events that happened that morning, but to also remind us Bill is watching over us on every call. Words cannot express our sincere thanks to everyone who has ever helped us, keeping the memory of firefighter William Marks alive. On this, the 20th anniversary of the line of duty death of Munhall volunteer firefighter William Spencer Marks, we would like to present the residents of Munhall with yet another memorial in Bill's honor. We ask that it be placed in the Borough Building for all the residents to recall Bill. On behalf of the members of Munhall Volunteer Fire Company Number 1, we would like to thank you, and we offer these 2 gifts to the borough and have you hope that you place them somewhere in honor of Bill and the 6 other firefighters.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Stay here. Once again, it's my pleasure not only to accept the wonderful painting, pictures, and also plaque from Number 1 and Spence Marks. Munhall Borough salutes you all. We thank you for your dedication and loyalty to the job that you do every day. And when you go out, you know you risk your life. You and the police have the job of risking your life every day. So I commend you, and I thank you, and I know council does. And from the Borough of Munhall, our plaque says Borough of Munhall 20-year commemoration in honor of Munhall Borough Fire Company Number 1 fireman for dedicated service during the tragedy of August 5, 1995 in the Borough of Munhall. Thank you for those firefighters who were doing their duty that Memorial Day. Munhall Borough will always remember William Spence Marks and heroes such as Ike Bumby, Dale Cannon, Robert Grandetti, Scott Mazel, David Charma, and Philip Stosky for the courage you displayed that day. And from now on behalf of the Borough of Munhall, I want to present this to Number 1 Fire Company, and thank you once again.
Thank you.
Chair to comment on agenda items only at this time. If not, we will move to, Dawn Dressman, would you come to the podium?
Thank you. Has the borough decided where we're gonna hang the flag?
I think, Donna, we expected it the other day, I see you with some of the other fallen heroes. And then as far as the other one goes, probably closer to the door over there, we'll just stay standing.
Okay, only because not all the residents that come into the borough building come up to the second floor.
Right,
Uh,
understand.
Okay. Motion one, is this gonna be split with the school district?
Same question I have.
Oh, just on the same wavelength.
I'm gonna ask that question.
That hasn't been determined. Request was put
Good
in.
question. Very good question.
The publicly owned property within the TIF district for, motion six, where is that property at?
It's the roads, infrastructure, street poles. It's mainly roads, catch basins, and street lights, as well as, the two pump stations.
The pump station. Okay, does that include, what is it, 6th, 7th, and 8th? Or we're not that part of it?
No, no.
Because I know we did get money to cover for 6th, 7th, and 8th out of the TIF, I thought. Or was that from the enterprise then?
This is the waterfront district.
Okay.
There's also a Main Street TIF district. That's not included in
Okay,
this.
okay, and I got the other information, thank you, Bob. You spoke briefly, are there gonna be any other items added to the agenda?
I don't believe so.
Okay, because you spoke that you had an executive session.
We did.
Okay, what contracts were we talking about?
We have negotiations going on with our police department.
Is that the only contract that's open this year?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Before we move on, Ray, do you have something else you wanted to?
So, we
Sure,
were
let's-
gonna, we were gonna leave, we wanted to get one picture with, the council and the fire department.
Oh, absolutely.
So if we can get the council members to come up and, one picture real quick before, if you don't mind. Yes, yes. Can I get it back? Make sure you can see everybody.
I got everybody in. Ready? Aw, thank you. There you are, I've got everybody in, you can stand up.
Stand up.
Yep, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ray.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Ray, you were not at the meeting when the meeting started. I apologize for my outburst with our conversation. And
No, that's,
I didn't think you were.
if you want to accept that, that's
no,
fine.
I won't accept that. I just,
Fine.
I have some things to say.
Good.
Okay, well, we'll move on with the meeting now, the presentation is over. Do we have a motion to approve the July 15th, 2015 regular meeting minutes?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Shields, would you second? Second by Mr. Bonadilla. Comments, questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The motion carries unanimously. Okay, we'll move into reports from borough officials. Mayor, we'll start with you today.
Okay. I'm not here to offend anybody, but you know, I sat back after last meeting, and when I was called a liar by Mr.
We need to go there honestly, he apologized.
Wait a minute, Dan, do I have the floor, or is it my report or not?
Well, I don't know, I'm running the meeting, and if you're gonna
Well,
call out him and
no,
start the
I'm not-
meeting off with name
I'm
calling,
not-
you weren't a gentleman and you didn't accept his apology.
That's
That-
right, and I'll
that-
tell you why right now.
Okay, tell us why.
I'll tell you why, and I don't accept your apology either, 'cause I think
I didn't apologize,
well, I
I
think he
won't.
talks for you, let's put it that way. Anyway, I've been here a long time, as you all know, every one of you. And I got home after that meeting, and I thought, here's a guy, he's been in here a year and a half, don't know, his ears are still wet, and he calls me a liar on something, on a piece of paper that I have right here, and he don't want to see it.
I have it right here, Ray.
You have it right there, you should have it, you had one in
I
January, you
had
had
it for
one
a
in
long
May.
time.
That's right, you've had it, and yet you got up and left. You grandstand, and that's all you do every damn meeting is grandstand. And furthermore, you don't have any respect for me, I don't care. But you will respect this office, I'll tell you that much. And as far as, you're on the witch hunt, Rich. You go every damn, you're going around here to people, and I've been told, you're on a witch hunt, see if you can get on this guy. I got a letter here from back here, and you want a copy of your own letter too? Back in April, talking about the cell tires.
Well, you want to talk about the
Yeah,
cell
let's
towers?
talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Did you talk to Frank Keegan? Let's talk about it.
I did.
Homestead made their own deal down there, and that's who put it in. And Munhall is gonna be next, and they're still gonna be next. And I have calls into Frank, and I've had calls into Frank. The
Okay.
cell tower, we're supposed to be 2 tires, one here, up there. Yeah, I wanna talk about that. I wanna talk about all the BS you have in here, in your letter, if you wanna hear about it.
You can certainly read it, Ray.
Well, I
Go
will
right
read
ahead.
it. I will read it. You yelled about 9/11 originally, and then you mentioned some things that are totally.
So read the whole letter, Ray.
You said I'm not gonna read all of this. You were objecting, we were objecting to 9/11. Of course I objected to 9/11. You laid guys off, and furthermore, you ain't got nobody down there now, and you need people down there. And I'm getting tired of calling police in and off of the road to come in and watch the borough building because there's no security. Furthermore, you mentioned a Munhall resident, now that's a lie there probably, building a cell tower behind Westfield with generated revenue from Munhall. My understanding is you contacted the resident on your own and had the thing built in Homestead through the COG. Well, the COG absolutely expedited it because somebody was gonna get a tire and it was Homestead and they expedited it. Munhall is supposed to get 2 cell tires. but because you don't know what you're talking about, and I invited you in a letter to you to sit down here, and you got some things to learn, Rick.
I sure do,
You
Ray.
got a lot of things to learn.
I do.
Believe me.
I know that.
And I've been here, and you know, you might as well make fun of it, but I've been
I'm
here
not making fun of anything.
8 years as an auditor, 15 years as a councilman, almost 30 years as a mayor, for 45 years, and then you come in after a year and a half and start telling me what's wrong with Munhall. You don't have any, what'd you ever do for Munhall, by the way? Why don't you ask me that question?
Ray,
What'd you ever do for Munhall?
I'm not gonna go to your level and argue.
You know, you did, when
I
you
do,
got up,
I do respect you. If
I'm
you read the
talking.
letter, I
I'm-
respect you.
I'm
You're
talking.
trying to put me down, Ray,
I'm
in
talking.
public.
You got up here last month and left saying, I can't stand to sit next to you
You-
because you're a liar. And I'm no liar, but
You
you
let
are.
this letter sit on your desk for 2 or 3 months. It didn't come into our office until May 26th. You have it dated January 14th. So that's January, February, March, April, 3-4 months, right? And then you're trying to tell us that you told us, you pointed your finger at all Munhall Council and said that we were aware of the cemetery's plight.
You were.
I have,
Boomer,
I
how many
have,
times, how
I
many
have-
years have you known about it from council?
I have every minutes of every meeting
I
from
don't
now
care
till
what-
January.
Well, the minutes,
You never spoke one word about it.
I never
cemetery.
spoke, that's funny, I have
Secondly,
meetings, I have the
Ray.
meetings from last month, it says
Secondly,
right in
Ray.
there that Mayor Bodnar said, you're gonna own the cemetery.
Ray, secondly, you had several meetings up there Memorial Day. You had everyone there at the platform. You didn't say anything to anyone there about the plight of the cemetery.
Of
Not
course
one minute, not one word.
Of course not.
That was your opportunity.
Let me finish my story. Number one,
That
I've
could have been his
served
place.
for 25 years there. You, my friend, have done nothing. I've done, you
Ray.
have done, you won't even replace that water fountain.
I've done more in Munhall than you have, buddy.
You have.
I've worked in more houses here than you. I've talked and helped so many people in real trouble.
And do you want
And
me
you
to?
wanna sit back there and argue with me?
Yeah,
I'm
so you
not,
want me to bring some of your customers up?
you
They
can bring
come to
anyone
me.
up. Excuse me.
You're not
You're the
gonna
one
like it.
arguing. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm
Well,
not
then,
gonna go to your level.
And I certainly
This
want.
is terrible.
I want a public apology for you calling me a liar and getting up and leaving me, because you certainly don't wanna sit near me.
I
but you're
certainly
sitting
don't.
near me now, aren't you?
I did
Yeah.
apologize to everyone, Ray, and you wouldn't accept my apology.
You're wrong again, you're grandstanding.
I'm
You're
grandstanding.
always grandstanding.
Thank you very much.
Come on, let's
So
get
you
this over
accused
with.
the police of negligence too, by the way.
When did I do that?
Whenever they went up on that shooting on, what is it, Margaret Street? Or Martha
Hey,
Street?
Hoy.
Yeah, you
Okay,
posted
guys,
police.
can we, Dan actually passed to me as the president pro tem. Let's,
Let
this
me
is really
finish.
getting a little.
This is,
I'm finished.
I accused the
Care about- I don't think
police
we
of
should have
being
any finger
negligent.
pointing
Yes,
at
you
anything,
did.
anybody.
Oh, my
You
God.
did.
Nothing is
I'm gonna
going
see
to
you
be
for a
productive
minute.
unless
Yes, sir, the
we
Homestead
work
police were
together
there
here.
and
We don't work
Munhall
together.
But
What are you talking
Munhall-
about?
There it is, right in your letter. Homestead police, here
Are
it
you
is.
talking about Dan Boyd's incident?
I'm talking about Martha Street. Hey, Roy.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's no negligence there, Ray.
No, but you made our police. One chance to our
It
chief.
was a letter to you, Ray.
It was a letter to me. And,
That's correct. So if you'd like to make the
Guys, you know what, we're not being, nothing's getting done with us on this
I
right
agree.
now. I think we need to move on.
I agree.
This
This
only
was
gonna make
my-
Munhall look bad. I
This
mean,
was my
Mary,
time.
make your
This was my
statement.
report.
Can you continue with a different part of your report, or?
Yeah, I'll continue.
Mary, I mean,
But
I
I
don't.
had to say
I mean,
this.
I think you made a point, and Rick's made a point, and I think now it's only hurting Munhall.
And that's why I apologized. I did
So,
not
I mean,
have.
I understand both of your points, you know, I understand you both had a point to make, and we
And
did it,
by the way,
and now it's time to move
Matt
on.
Gallo was your buddy's buddy, and not only that, but he left here with us in a hole. Nice hole. And accusations. The audit oversight is you and council, not the mayor. But the mayor went after him whenever he handed me his letter of resignation. No, you guys weren't around. That's right. I want to let you know where you are, because you're the guy that's gonna be running 2 years from now, remember? Remember that.
Are you threatening me now, Rick?
I don't have to threaten you. I just want to do the same.
Can we just move along with the meeting here, Mayor? I mean,
All right, I'll
can you
move on.
continue your report? I mean, I think we covered.
Okay.
We need to cover.
They deserve
we
it.
covered here.
I do deserve
You
it.
deserve it.
Absolutely.
You got up and walked away. No guts. No
I walked and
guts.
sat over there.
No guts. You walked away from me. You would sit down and went here.
Well,
I'd like
he's
to
not
know,
gonna stop. So I'm not gonna get bad here.
Okay, Mayor, it is, please move on.
comments by Vashavik for the Propel Schools MMO. I didn't get a copy of that either. I don't know why. I'm just were those changes implemented,
I sent them, I don't have the original agreement, so what I did, Mayor, I was asked to review it, and I made a memorandum, which is right here, which I sent to Mr. Callen, and I thought perhaps you all would have it, but I can make a copy for you, and Pat needs to have it as well. I pointed out 6 essentially minor language changes. The content, the general content of the agreement is fine, the subject matter, but just some minor language changes and some minor additions for the protection of the borough and some legal clarification that I recommended. And I have that here. I assume that whoever had the template for this agreement could simply insert these changes into it, and it would be fine to go.
We just discussed that.
Okay.
I did discuss it with Pat before the start of the meeting.
Thank you.
I'll make sure you get a copy of this.
I didn't know. I
Necessary
didn't get
changes and we'll sign it.
I didn't get a copy, so I didn't know. A couple other items I have. Pittsburgh hires veterans. On behalf of Pittsburgh hires veterans, they're asking for support by posting a poster display, and also by, what do you call it, signing up. There's an application here, and they want to let know, and this is through the Veterans Leadership of Western Pennsylvania, and there's a phone number and everything, and Pittsburgh, you know, if there's people, especially veterans naturally, looking for jobs, we'll have the applications. We want to thank them, Becky, and if you're looking for a job, have a veteran, tell them to come in. Another item is, Sebastis Wasik Glen up at, the, park up in West Mifflin, the Ryan Hackey Memorial Program. They're having a picnic, all-day picnic, short service, and it's, invite you to a special event. Stratwood will cater. They're holding a short memorial for local veterans who have passed through troop appreciation, and that's a local organization that provides members of the military, past and present, with items that contribute. And everybody's invited. We'll see that, I don't know if council got a copy of this or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we have it.
Because it came to me directly. They certainly invite you to RSVP by September 5th, 412-462-2288. When you see that, y'all get a copy.
What's the date?
September 5th, respond by.
That's the.
20th.
That's the
Date of
thing.
the,
You have to have a date
20th, the 20th at West Mifflin Community Park. Also, there's well, this is part of it. A prayer walk I've been asked, and I think Becky sent this out to everybody, did they not? It's in their packet. Okay, that's a prayer walk from the different communities. And outside of that, I think that's about all I have. I just, I'm anxious to move forward with a new council. And I'll tell everybody that, and if you don't like me, I can't help it, you'll hear the truth. Remember that, Rick. You'll hear
Thank you,
the
Mayor.
truth. You will hear the truth.
Report from the solicitor?
Thank you. I already talked about the school memorandum of understanding, and I'll make sure I get copies that I can email that to you if you don't have it. I'll get that over to you. The only other item is something we discussed briefly, the 19th Avenue playground, that parcel of property. I checked, and Mr. Furman had not recorded that deed, so I'm gonna get that signed and record what he was supposed to do and obligated to do, and then I'll also file a claim as I was directed by council to recover those costs just in the form of lien against the property, so take care of that. And my other items were subject of executive session, so that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Manager report.
Thank you, Rob. I think you have on pages 11, 12, thereafter a few attachments. My report, very briefly, just to highlight a few things. Community Development Block Grant Year 42, the pre-applications are due to the college of the county on September 11th. So I will request some ideas or projects from council no later than September 9th. In the past, demolition has always been the preferred activity for the CDBG dollars. I'm not sure how much that would be for us. We've had anywhere from 30,000 to 50,000. I know there have been cutbacks in HUD, so I don't know what the amount is, but I'm going to ask council if you have any ideas or projects. Certainly let me know. The Steel Valley Veterans Banner Program, some of you know, there's an initiative to produce and design and place veteran banners along commercial districts within the 3 boroughs of the Steel Valley. Information on this will be posted on our website, as well as will be printed and requested in the Valley Mirror and the Daily News. This is not a borough function or activity. It's run by volunteers under the leadership of Councilman Brennan, and Mark Fallon, who's in the audience, is also spearheading this as well. So there's information that we'll be getting out to the public within the next week or two. You have in the package that I gave you at least a prototype registration form for anyone who may want to participate. The cost is $90 total, so more information on that will be coming out. The Early Intervention Program, Phase 1 and 3, as you know, we contracted with Resource Development and Management back in October to do a financial as well as operational audit and recommendations for the borough. I was hoping to have a presentation this evening, but after speaking with the consultants, we're not quite ready yet, so we did set a special meeting for council on September 30th. Public, of course, will be invited, where we will have a financial trend analysis of the past 5 years and what's projected for the next 5 years, and some policy directive that should be changed for the balance of 2015 and into years hence. So that full report, Phase 1 through 3, will be issued on September 30th. It will be a final report probably in late October, early November timeframe to coincide with our 2016 budget formulation. As you know, we have a Parks and Recreation Board. There's been 2 meetings of that board. The board has appointed its president and vice president. You have that in the report in front of you. Of the 11 members, they have staggered terms anywhere from 1 to 5 years. I have that indicated in your report on page 11. They will be formulating their bylaws. Those bylaws will have to be submitted to council for review and approval, and hopefully that will be at your September 16th meeting. Demolition, CDBG year 40. We're currently out in bid with the Steel Valley COG for the following properties: 2718 Homestead Duquesne Road, 1329 Margaret Street, 805 Homestead Duquesne Road. There was some discussion in the past 2 or 3 meetings on 428 East 8th Avenue. That's now off the list. We've got a quote of anywhere from $75,000 to $100,000 to do that. We certainly don't have the money, and the CDBG dollars is not there at that point. On demolition, Community Development Block Grant 41. Title searches have been completed by the solicitor, and we're going through the legal process right now. The following properties are slated to go out and bid and and hopefully start the demolition in spring of 2016, and they are 915 Ravine Street, 1207 Cole Road, 920 Creek Street, 1314 Margaret Street, 1224 Ravine Street, 1124 Creek Street, and lastly, 1309 Ravine Street. Finance Committee met on August 4th, and reviewed the employee pension plan report, as well as the 2014 general fund audit, and we have the audit on the action list for acceptance. We do have a recurring issue that some of you are aware of, what's called the West Run Road, Forest Avenue culvert issue. There is a intermunicipal cooperation agreement that goes back, I believe, to about 1974 among Munhall, West Homestead, Pittsburgh, and Allegheny County that share responsibility in the cleaning of that culvert. Every time there's a heavy rain, there's flooding that's down there. I did have a meeting with Allegheny County as well as West Homestead officials last week. I'm going to ask council to direct our engineer to prepare a DEP dredging permit, at least for our end on Munhall side. We do need to dredge that. This is a recurring issue, and it's not going to go away. Police negotiations, we will continue negotiations. The next session is September 11th. Planning Commission met on this past Thursday regarding vacating a paper street in relation to a planned kennel on Main Street that had previously been approved, but the purpose of the Planning Commission was to grant the okay to at least have the owners of those adjacent properties take in that vacant, that paper street as far as their subdivision. Budget formulation will begin the 2016 budget formulation toward the end of September. And I'm hoping if all goes well, we'll have the 2016 budget by the middle of December. That's all I have in my prepared report, Mr. Chairman. Pro-Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I mean, thank you, Solicitor.
Manager,
Manager, Solicitor, I gave you,
well, except for the mayor, I gave you the motion, but solicitor, I gave you a raise.
Can I ask you a question on your report?
Yes.
The demo property that's taken off the list on 8th Avenue, what's that address again?
428 8th Avenue? Yeah,
8th
428 East 8th Avenue.
Didn't we at one time think about putting that on the sheriff's sale list? And sheriff's sale on the property?
he does owe back taxes.
It was before my time, but there are 3 years past taxes.
I thought we discussed that, and we thought that was on.
It was always an option.
I mean, that's something we'd have to discuss with legal tax service, I guess.
Or
That would be the one
we
who
could
would
initiate
do
that
that.
ourselves, I believe.
Yeah.
So, that would be an option to sell the property at taxes owed or at sheriff's sale, and whoever purchased it would then take over the property and maybe do something with
If anybody.
If we have a buyer.
it. Right, now if we put it up for sheriff's sale and no one bid on it, would it become our property,
No.
correct?
We don't have to even, we could actually even turn a bid down, as far as I know. We can say bid start
That's
at,
up to the sheriff's.
you know, oh, that's definitely right.
That's
That's an option, I'm thinking of,
Yes.
yes, definitely.
If no one bought it, it would become our
Or will
property.
become a three taxing bars.
We don't want that.
Ours are schools in the county.
Cost about
Bob, I do want to
$5,000.
remind
Yes, sir,
council
ma'am.
that
I don't know what the amount, no more than that.
5 to 8,000, I heard. They
For
cost.
all 3 taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we
$5,000 to apply.
want to go down that avenue, but that is an avenue to maybe search and think
I
about
mean,
it.
I'd like to see us put it on the list again, actually. You know, I know it's a lot of money, but eventually we're gonna have to bite the bullet and do it.
Rob, I do want to mention once again that we lost $30,000 in one other communities to the code because of what we did by deleting that property and putting 4 other properties, 3 of which didn't qualify, on there. And I said to Boomer, and I'll say it again, anytime, don't just write 4 or 5 properties down, write 10 or 11, so that if they knock the first 3, 4, or whatever off, we can move down the list. Let's be prepared for that.
I would like to see that get added to the list for 17.
But we lost
We gotta bite the
30
bullet.
grand because of that.
I think that we should look at a couple of avenues with that property. If we could get Lindsay or someone to look at the property and see what it would take to maybe pull out all the garbage in it,
We need an engineer to do that.
and, pardon me?
We need an engineer to do that.
Well, someone needs to look at
I'm
it.
just saying, you get the engineer, well, it costs you more money, so you know.
Well, then maybe we'll tell our street
There
department
you
to look
go,
at it.
we're paying him anyway.
And see what it would cost for us to pull out anything that's in there and then put it up for sheriff's sale. It would be half the price of us paying.
I think you just put up the sheriff's sale as is.
I wouldn't go near the
Yeah,
place.
you start going in there and pulling stuff out, you know,
Well,
that's it.
We don't own the property, so I don't know if we can pull it
No,
out.
we don't own the
We have the right to do that.
I don't think we do.
Well, we've
If the
condemned
public
it.
safety hazard, we would,
Yeah, we've condemned it, so that has given us the right to remove the nuisance, correct the hazard, abate the problem, which would include going on there and removing hazardous materials and preparing it for demolition. So that is how we acquired that right, is by going through the condemnation process to enter that private property.
So Greg, in your opinion, that we could enter it? I mean, I don't know if we can't sell anything right now, right? We can
No,
enter it
well,
and just,
we shouldn't go in there and remove things unless it's part of the process of demolishing the structure. In other words, that's what we acquired the right to do.
Before abandoned cars.
Yeah, and that would have to be done as part of the demolition, I think, so, or the demolition contractor would go in there and remove these things as part of the
was there any,
project.
was there anything more hazardous than the cars in there?
no, we don't know.
There's tanks in
I
there.
think there's tanks in there, yes.
Might be a 7, might be a 10. There's fuel in there, there's a lot of
I have
dangers.
a friend who's in demolition business out of state, and he said, the problem with a building like that, he saw it down there, isn't the cost of tearing it down. If you run into hazardous materials, it's the cost of, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
You just can't take it to a regular dump, it could go through the roof when you find out what's in there. You dispose of it, I mean, any demolition contractor's gonna come in and look at that and say, he's not even gonna be able to give you a price till he knows what he's gonna be pulling out. Once you start getting rid of the hazardous materials, man, it just,
I mean, we have to be proactive on it, look at our options, what we can do and do it, you know.
Don't we have anybody that's interested in it again? Bob, do we have anybody who was interested in it? You mentioned last meeting, somebody was interested in it and they changed their mind. Who was it?
We did.
Yeah, who was interested?
The name escapes me, but I did meet with them, and yes, they did look at it, and they declined any further interest.
West
Can we get a demolition company just to go down there and look at it and give us a price?
We did. It was $70,000.
75 to 100,000.
3 years ago, it was 28,000, Rich. 3 years ago.
While we're talking about properties and demolition, has anyone looked at the Hayes Mansion lately? Has anyone been up there?
I was there.
How was it Memorial Day?
And what's going on there, if anything? I know they painted flowers and they painted the
Put a
front.
new roof on the roof.
I got a
Roof
call.
isn't new.
Yeah, put a new roof on there, bud.
I got a call
No,
from
they haven't
Texas.
put a new roof on it.
Yes,
I
sir.
have a call, got a call from Texas,
Yeah.
Mr. Dice, or whatever, senior, he's about
I think they did.
88 years old. He's very interested continually, he says he's gonna get back to us. He's gonna continue having the program naturally, but he's gonna get back to us as far as improvements and something else.
These people do have, do want to rehab this.
Yeah, the Hayes family.
The Hayes family does want to rehab it, they own it again now, they got it as.
It's fine, all it takes is money.
And they
It's cleaned up.
work on it, it's clean, I was in the inside,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more structures.
There's
that need to
electricity
come
inside.
down.
Yeah, they finally get power back in. Okay.
There was some still problems, I guess years ago, they don't have any water up there right now. Years ago, somebody removed, and I don't know who or how it happened, but there's no water there right
What
now.
was their goal? How many millions was their goal? I don't recall.
Uh,
It's,
I'm thinking, I hate to quote it, because I don't go in.
3 million.
Yeah, but 3 or 5 million.
So I think it's,
I mean, I don't know where they're at with raising funds right now, I can make a call to Texas.
they didn't have enough money, they didn't have enough money for the roof yet.
Didn't they make that a historic,
Yes, they did, so
They
it's
got
gonna be a
flagged.
real problem here now because of the.
They have a plaque.
They haven't built the plaque
Yes,
yet.
no, they've protected themselves with that flag. I mean, it's really
See where they're at when you have a chance. Thanks.
They put on the roof.
I thought they put on the roof.
I was
saw
on
them
Hill, I was
doing
on Hilltop, and I saw guys on the roof, I knew what they were doing.
it. When we went on the tour with, Bob, to check the streets out, they were
That's
doing
what
a
we
roof then, and that was after Memorial Day.
That's when we saw it, yeah, that was in, June. Saw him up on the roof, that's when I saw it. Went up and turned around, huh?
That's the first step.
Engineer report.
Engineer report.
Not too much new in the last month. I am working on the stormwater ordinance, how it pertains to the U.S. Steel Research Facility. They'll be submitting at some point their stormwater review, so they can ask some questions and go back and forth on the requirements for the stormwater and demonstrating their impact. I don't know if anybody has any questions on the West Run permit that Bob brought up in his report. I'll have to provide a proposal at the next meeting for you to approve, unless you're gonna send it over sooner, but they won't be able to approve it.
Okay, send it over soon.
Yeah.
You're talking about the dredging.
Yes.
Where are you gonna dredge?
It's an area behind, if you're familiar with that area, there's, Western Road, and then there's a culvert under the, whether it's like old storage, old storage.
Rocco's Plaza, the little storage unit there.
Yeah, and there's a, Westlands that comes down, they have actually stormwater maintenance, like these structures that calm the water, the runoff comes down off that hill, gets caught by their facilities, goes directly into the culvert under the road. Well, a few years ago, I actually visited the site when it started to have problems, was in 2011. And then sediment had built up under that. We investigated it, and you're actually allowed to dig out that culvert with 50 feet on either side of it daily. So you can do that without a permit, even though it's a stream, even though it's technically, you are allowed to maintain 50 feet on either side. Now, the problems with that culvert go the whole way down into the creek behind, you're standing on the road looking towards the waterfront, it would be on your right, back in there. There's probably a 1,000-foot section, back then it was a 1,000-foot section that had been completely clogged with just sediment from the upstream communities. It builds up, the water doesn't have a place to go. During heavy rains, they were getting flooding the whole way down to the next bend, down at the, it's a recording studio. So we toured that facility, they showed us where they get water. They get tons of water basically every time it rains. Removing that sediment would give the more storage back there, so the water wouldn't build up onto the road. You would hope that it would, you would be able to have enough storage that it could flow into the creek and keep going downstream. Now, of course, we will fix the problem in our community, but downstream there might be other, they may have problems because we've improved our transmission, but it's our job to really alleviate the flooding that happens there quite regularly. I did meet with DEP years and years ago about the process. I don't believe it's changed. We'll have to get 2 permits, a permit through DEP to dredge the stream, and then a second permit from the Army Corps of Engineers to
Talking about a year process.
Yeah, so there's 2 areas of permits. So we would design it, we would survey it. I think it's changed. It's changed a lot since then with the landslide there. And we will basically prepare like a profile of what the topography is, and then we'll prepare a plan of how it would be dredged, how much volume of material will be removed, and we'll have a profile of what the new cross-section, what the new topography will look like.
And that dredging is going to correct the problem at the end of the street down here by the Vets Hospital.
No.
That has nothing to do with that, right?
No, that's a separate issue that the county is
Because it's still
waiting on.
flooding.
Remember, we had to do an easement agreement on that we said we didn't own that property. That's a separate issue.
Okay.
So that's all I had. I'll prepare a number and submit that. Unless anybody has any other questions.
Any questions for the engineer? We'll move on, thank you, Lindsay. Public Works Supervisor Bob.
Your report on page 20 of your report.
All I got is, Main Street open today, I don't have any late, told about that. Main Street cameras are being worked on Thursday, I don't know if you finished them, you know, Pat?
What?
The Main Street cameras,
No, we're not up and running yet.
they're not running yet, okay, I know he was working on them. And, we're in the middle of painting cross lines for sort of.
Well, I have a question. Somebody asked me, have we been, Main Street, there's some weeds in the streets and in the cracks. Can we spray them? Can we, send someone out to spray them?
By the
And anywhere
curbs.
else, by the curbs, there's a lot, and I've noticed it, someone brought it to my attention last week, was pointing it out to me, what are they gonna do? And, if there's anything, you know, get our two main areas, and maybe, I don't know, I haven't been down 8th Avenue much lately, but check 8th Avenue too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey,
Bob, I have a question.
I have a question too. Go ahead.
On Ravine Street, I met down there with Mr. Billy many years ago. I guess we were like on a 400 block, I'm not sure all the streets, the numbers run down there. The hillside has come down, it literally come over the curb. And you actually have 3 feet of street buried into the hillside. And we talked about the time bringing a backhoe down there and coming along. You could actually widen parts of that road by 2 or 3 feet. Because I wasn't aware, there's no curb on the one, if you're heading towards 8th Avenue, heading towards the blue buildings, it's on the right-hand side. There's a curb buried back there. There's more road there. You take a look at it, I mean, we probably missed the boat while the road was closed, there'd be less traffic to do it, but it's feasible to, you know, the hillside actually has taken over part of the road.
Okay.
Okay?
Bob, I didn't hear what you said earlier, Bob, about the school guard
I just said we were
crossings.
painting the lines.
You're still going to, you're continuing, right?
Yeah, we got up another 2 weeks.
Okay, because I saw some of them done, and I was wondering if you, when you intended.
Is that your report? That's all right. Thank you. Report of the police chief?
Yes, you have the report on page 21, thereafter.
I'll be brief. 603 incidents for the month, 66 arrests, 62 citations issued. We got one officer back off of, from an injury. He was off for about 7 months. Got him back in the past month. We still have one off, recovering from a surgery, and we're going to have one off on maternity leave in the next couple weeks. I spoke to the mayor about this earlier. We need to come to some agreement with somebody, whether it be West Homestead, West Mifflin, about a permanent solution for housing our prisoners. We don't have a permanent solution. We're calling officers in off the street. We're calling our clerk in after hours. We're incurring costs that we shouldn't have to incur. I'm sure we can come to an agreement with one of the 2 other places that hold prisoners in our area, whether it be West Homestead or West Mifflin. I've had a talk with both of the police chiefs. They're willing to work with us, but I can't make that agreement. It has to come from this body.
And we've been, we're lucky that Shannon is on maternity because she's been filling the desk in the evenings down there, which is a heck of a plus.
Did she have her baby?
She'll be leaving in about a week or so.
Oh, she is going.
She's not going
Oh,
out.
okay. I think it's.
We have in the budget 2 part-time positions, we never filled.
How does West Homestead do it? They still call people in, don't they?
They call people, and I believe they call their guys off the road too. I'm not
Same
exactly
way as
sure.
we're doing it.
Same way we're doing it.
They have residents that come down.
They used
too,
to
right?
run
They
that
have,
call,
they
didn't
have
they?
some of their residents that they call on an on-call basis. I believe if we can either contract with them or contract with West Mifflin. West Mifflin has a 24-hour staff facility.
Yeah.
I think that would make the most sense.
Their facilities something else.
Unbelievable.
Jeez.
The mayor and I toured with Mayor Kelly and her chief, a couple weeks after they opened it.
Yeah, that's
State of the art, unbelievable.
unbelievable building.
So I just asked that you give that some thought and please look into it.
How many prisoners have we had?
We made our 400th arrest for the year today.
But they're not overnight prisoners.
Not all of them. Some of them, we don't hold them here more than 8 hours. But if I have only 2 guys on a shift and I can't pull one off the road, have to call someone in, but if it's someone who's inebriated, you can't send them away, they have no one to pick them up, then they're sitting there for 8 hours, so.
I mean, Bob did mention we put money in the, there's money for part-time help, would that help if we would move forward and for this year?
We just need to make some kind of permanent decision on how we're gonna handle it.
I mean, at least we, put the 2 part-timers on and try to move forward with that.
I'll tell you what, the facility in West Mifflin, I don't think you can beat it.
And I know it
There's
is.
a liability when you have someone down here and something happens in our cell, I mean, I'd be,
Ryan, we've
We
done
do
that for
need to make a
years,
decision before we.
that's always worried me.
but we had trained personnel to do it.
Right.
We're not, our trained personnel, they're out in other positions now, we're not getting them.
And we're starting to run short of time. As soon as Shannon leaves, the situation's gonna get worse.
Correct.
What happened to the retired officers that we were supposed to bring in?
Like I said, we have to come to some kind of agreement, whether it's, if you tell us to do this, we'll try to do that. I think the easiest solution that I can think of is contracting with 1 or 2 other facilities. in the area.
Mayor, would you be willing to meet with Chief Kelly or Mayor Kelly again?
All the time.
Of course.
That concludes my report.
I got a question for the police
Sure.
chief. These, boom boxes these kids got in their cars, that shake the whole neighborhood. I called the police, I called 911, and, after answering about 100 questions, they said it's not a priority.
They probably wouldn't give that call in here.
And, is there a noise ordinance or
I believe we have a noise ordinance, we have nothing to compute the
Right, how do you?
decibels,
That's a
we
mess.
have no equipment to do that. But there is a noise ordinance, everyone has a
And
noise
so
ordinance.
how
if you,
can we get in touch with the police somehow to get somebody down there without going through the 911?
if they stay in one place, they drive around with it.
They stay in one place. Aaron did drive around.
But is it private residents that do it? They inside do it, or they what, they're sitting outside there?
They're outside in the car, sitting in the car.
At their base, it's vibrates.
So
I mean,
911
your
says,
house shakes.
Yeah.
so 911 says that they're not forwarding that call.
It's
It's not a priority
Not a
call.
But
priority.
they won't even pass it on.
Oh, like I said, they will after, after they clear all the priority calls.
Like, with
So
nothing else going on, we'll call it in.
they will.
They said they're too busy for,
We were
it's not a
informed,
priority.
earlier in the week, 911 will no longer take call-offs for our crossing guards. We don't have anybody there at 5 in the morning when they're supposed to report on 5 or 6 in the morning. Our clerk doesn't come in until a certain time, and by that time it's too late. So what we've done, we've taken one of the old cell phones, it doesn't dial out, it only receives calls. The supervisor of the shift is gonna have that phone, and they're gonna be instructed. Did you get that email today? Good email sent out to you, I know you're meeting with the
Hate
crossing
to
guard.
digress, but if you went back to the, say the police showed up at this boombox situation. So if you pull up, they probably turn the radio off when the police car pulls up.
They might even hear the police car coming.
Okay, I mean, right. So what happens? You have to have some kind of,
Decimal reader,
decimal reader,
which we don't have.
So,
and then you have to be calibrated. I mean, it's a little bit more to it.
Calibrating, we wouldn't be, we have someone come in and calibrate our equipment
Right.
every 2 weeks.
I mean, my neighbors are complaining, they're telling me, why don't you do something about it, why don't you,
Make the call, and
Isn't-
if,
There's some
we'll
kind of-
answer the call, we'll have to give them a warning and turn it off.
yeah, but
If we
they
come
won't
back-
even accept the call down there, down
I
911.
can't control that,
Isn't there a non-emergency number to still call?
We don't have that. We need a phone number for the police department. Call.
464-7301.
Here we go
But if
again.
there's nobody
Here we
here,
go
there's
again.
nobody to answer.
I know. They should have someone in the office from 9 to 5 during the business hours to answer the phone.
There is.
This is in the evening, this is after 5 o'clock.
It's after dark.
Well, not necessarily,
Yeah.
it's,
You have to bring up things, yeah, but that's why we need that part-time clerk.
7301
Evening.
will bring every phone into the department. If there's someone there, one of the officers of the court will answer the
That's why
phone.
we need a part-time clerk here, or somebody here till midnight.
Yeah, most days there's someone here.
Whether we go to West Mifflin or not, we still need, I mean, I know.
That overnight is a time.
I know our problem is we got, 2 and 3 officers on the street covering.
We have that in the budget, if you want to authorize to put an ad in the paper to get 1 or 2 part-time.
I mean, even if we go to West
I think
Mifflin or
they
West
should be
Homestead,
part-time
we
policemen.
still
I think they should
need
be
something
part-time
there,
policemen,
so.
not clerks.
You still don't want, well, you don't want, why would you want a trained policeman to sit there? Just as, you know.
I don't want a trained policeman to sit there. I want a trained policeman, part-time to work, we gotta work. If you're low on people, you're telling me you don't have men, you have so much overtime in the budget, you're paying so much overtime, if you look at all the overtime you're getting. Part-time police would be much better than
Not gonna argue about it.
all the
What needs
overtime.
to be
Get
looked
some
at is,
part-time guys back.
That's not up to me. That's
what
up
needs to be
you
looked
guys.
at is how much money that we're putting in the overtime.
Yeah,
And if we eliminate some of that overtime,
We haven't
the
had-
money that we would be, if we could save money by putting on part-time on.
The last
You know,
civil service test that was given, you're required to have a civil service test in place every 2 years.
We don't have
The
to.
last time we gave a civil service test was when Officer Williams,
That's over 5 years.
Tracy and Trout were hired, that was 8 years ago.
Can we ask for one?
You can, you can have civil service,
Anytime.
yeah, anytime.
Do we still have a civil service committee in place?
Yeah,
they had hearings. Sure they did.
The whole committee, yeah.
Can we get a civil service test out there?
Well, I think we would need to make a
Advertise
motion
for it?
for that.
You could do it if
I'm just
I
asking.
mean, I think we would need to make a motion as a council to put the civil service test out here.
You would.
Does anybody wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll
I
make a
can't right
motion.
now.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
What are we motioning
A
here?
motion to, put out,
Authorize.
To authorize a civil service test. so we can have a roster, if needed, we decide to hire part-time police officers, we have a roster there to look at, a testing set up with the Civil Service Commission.
I'd like to hire Nick back.
I would too.
You get that, Becky?
I like my title.
You get that verbiage?
Okay,
I have to double check that.
Like I said,
I mean, I don't think we need a roll call vote on this.
Comment on the motion?
Gentlemen, I have a comment. One more comment. You hire part-timers. Again, I want the
Well, I can't,
verbiage.
it was made by, Pepe, and it was seconded by Joe.
I guess I don't have the floor. I
And,
want the
being as a new,
verbiage to indicate, not like last time we had them, remember? We had a lot of confusion with part-time people, and that was all.
well, we're not saying part-time, we
We
just
gotta
need to
get the
test
proper
up.
verbiage to address the matter appropriately, because, we don't wanna go through what we did last time.
Well, this is just to advertise for a test.
It's just advertising for a test,
I'm just
not,
telling
we'll leave the
you.
word part-time out of it, we're just advertising for the test. If Rich is okay to change that motion to that.
It's actually the Civil Service Commission.
Yes.
Yeah, right. What do I have to change?
I don't think he'll change anything, does he? We don't have the
We got-
verbiage,
we got the
part-time in
spirit.
there at all.
We got the spirit.
Okay.
It's just-
Okay, we'll just do, I don't think we need a roll call vote, all in favor?
Comment on the
Oh,
motion?
comment on the
I am
motion.
allowed to comment, right?
You are, because it's an agenda item.
It isn't, shouldn't you wait till the end of the agenda when you're, rather than finish all the reports? And then
You
go
can do whatever you like.
on
We
with
can
the
do it
agenda?
anytime, I do one after the solicitor.
Anytime you want to make a
Okay.
motion,
You
anytime.
can you can still have your comment though.
Okay, yeah, when do you foresee for this test to take place and where?
I'm hoping it takes place this
It's up to
year.
the civil service board.
That will be up.
They
That would
decide
be
on
up to-
that. They decide the location, when they're gonna do it, they do it all.
I'd like to see it this fall, but that's, up to the board when they can get their meeting together and.
The sooner the better.
Everything good, sooner the better. I like to see it in the fall is my, what I'd like to see.
Do we still have a civil service list down in the borough office?
Spots.
It doesn't mean anything because it's only good for 2 years, Donna. That's what I got, the chief is correct.
No, it's.
2 years,
long,
Pat?
long.
It's only good for
2
2 years.
years, you're supposed to have it updated every 2 years.
So we don't have it
We haven't had
updated.
updated.
So it is time to update it.
5, 6 years?
8 years.
8 years.
Any other questions on the motion?
Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
I believe there's all ayes and nays. Motion passes. Approved. still on you, chief, anything else yet?
No, I believe that's enough for me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, fire chief report, Glenn.
I'm hoping Ed, and before he left, I was hoping he slid this under, so I don't know if it's anybody's back.
We don't have to know.
I'll make sure that Becky gets this to give to all of you, so I'll just make it brief. Bureau of Fire for the month of June had 39 calls, for almost a total of 320 calls for the year as of the end of July. We still have two injuries, one ongoing from December for the shoulder injury, and more recently, we just had a twisted ankle at a fire scene in Duquesne with the rehab, nothing major. As far as hours goes, we have a total of 350 hours by the volunteers for emergency calls, 720 hours in in-house training, 554 hours for other public service hours, bringing the total for the month of June to 1,624 volunteer hours. Other than that, the members completed some hazardous material awareness and operations classes, pump operation class, and emergency vehicle operators class. The rest of this will be in the report that I'll have to make sure Becky gets to you. And then lastly, it's that time of year again where we put our official letter in to request the funds for the Bureau of Fire Truck Fund. Our bills are due in October, so we'd like to have that by the next month's meeting. But we always require the letter, so we have that ready to go and make sure we get that all over. Other than that, that's it for me.
Any questions for the fire chief? Thank you, Glenn. Boomer, code enforcement officer.
You have a copy of my report. The only thing I have to add to it is, a resident came last meeting, complained about Margaret Street. The problem down Margaret Street, I gave a report to Bob, is there's 15 abandoned or empty properties down there. I will be trying to take 13 of them to the magistrate. Out of the 13, probably 9 won't show up. So we're gonna still have the same problem. I mean, more than likely after I have the hearing, I'll ask public works to go down there and cut the property and put lien on property, if that's council's wishes.
Now, you're talking abandoned, I mean, do they need boarded up or anything?
There's
I
some
mean,
that we have boarded up already, public
you
works has
already
boarded
did
up.
some of them.
Yeah, and there's gonna be more additional.
The one they boarded up, a few weeks ago was a crime scene for us.
Right.
Where it's being used by, there's still power to the house. There's still power in the house, but it's an abandoned property.
All right, so it's gonna be a fine.
Who's paying that bill?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Why is it?
Can't we get the electric company to, can we call maybe?
Is it cut down?
We can call and have it cut off.
I don't know that it's on
I think
now.
they cut it off, yeah.
If you alert them that the bill's unpaid, I'm sure they'll cut it off
Well, the
immediately.
bill's gonna pay for.
Well, they must be falling through the cracks in the electric company. They must not be aware of that. I guess. They don't keep it on if you don't pay.
No.
I mean, it's best to board those places up so they're not used for activities that we don't like.
I think we need to let them know that the property is vacant, hasn't been paid, and boarded up to get that electric off. Would that be you, Dave, that would?
I don't think, I can't.
No, the
I
chief?
could do it.
You can do it, chief?
Why can't you do it?
That's not, only, for some reason, I can't, that's not, I can't tell people to shop
Well, you
utilities.
can't call the electric company and say, we have an abandoned property, the electricity's on, that's
That's
it.
a code
I can't, that's all I'm
enforcement
saying.
officer.
I can't require them, I think the police can require them, or the fire company can require them to
I
shop.
don't know about that, you just gotta let them know the power's on, it's abandoned.
I mean, that's what I can call them to say.
I'm sure once you give them the address,
Yeah,
they'll
they're
see
gonna
where
know.
I'm paying the bill.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If you can speak as the code enforcement officer, if that doesn't work, we'll go the avenue.
I'll
of the
make
chief.
sure on all the ones that are abandoned out there, we'll do it all.
Good idea.
That concludes my report.
Dave, I have a question, I have a question
Okay,
for you. I talked to the woman on Marigold Street after I spoke with you today, and she's not happy with the agreement you guys have. She's not, we have a woman has dogs, and dogs are being brought into the home, and she's not happy with the agreement. She doesn't trust the woman who has the dogs, and you're gonna have to make a resolution there other than trying to work both sides and it's
How
not.
many dogs you gotta have?
Our, No, our, code says you're not own 3 domesticated animals. So
Okay,
you can have 2 dogs, a cat,
okay.
whatever. This lady is a.
How many turtles?
Well,
Not
You can't buy a turtle unless you have a license.
well, it depends on how you breed the goat. I mean, domesticated
I
animals.
mean, it's,
Snakes.
oh,
A
if you
cat is
own,
not a domesticated animal.
if you own your own dogs, if you bring in other dogs,
Right.
Mine is.
you're operating an illegal kennel.
Well, Pat kind of knows the situation a little better than I do.
I know the lady who fosters the dogs. I believe she owns 3 dogs. She fosters, I don't know how many dogs.
You can't do that.
She gets them placed through some county agency. She's helped us out on a number of occasions. We get dogs in here, a few a week. If we call the dog catcher will come get them. 24 hours later, he'll gas them. And he'll charge us for them if there's no one to bill.
And apparently, they're disturbing the neighbors.
Well, I'm just saying, she's
Yeah.
taking dogs
Oh,
for us.
that's great. I
And placing
understand
them somewhere else and saving us money,
Right.
whatever. I didn't speak to her today. I know Dave spoke to her twice,
Monday and today.
and I told her, that she called my wife. My wife called me, I said, have her come down to the building, have her meet with Dave and Bob. Work out a solution. Apparently, Dave worked out a solution with the 2 neighbors up there. They agreed to it standing there on the sidewalk. After they went their separate ways, she called Bob, she called Mr. Brennan, and she didn't like the agreement, she just agreed to it.
Right.
I don't know what else he's
What,
supposed to do.
the agreement we came to was the lady would only have 3 dogs, own 3 dogs, and she would only foster 2 more dogs. And that was it.
You can't make an agreement to circumvent what's right or what's wrong. That's the whole idea.
Well-
I understand, if she's a dog lover, apparently that's a great thing, I am too. But if the neighbors are complaining about it,
There's one neighbor complaining about it. I mean,
but even if there's no one complaining about it, if no one complains about it, and you're operating an illegal kennel, it's still
she's
operating an illegal
not,
kennel.
she's non-profit, she doesn't make any profit, she doesn't
It
sell.
doesn't
anything.
matter, she's doing it for free or not, she's operating an illegal, that's what it is.
We'll have to read what.
I mean-
Is she picking up after the dogs? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
the yard's not
The
smelling?
only reason why this started again was, I think it was Saturday or Monday, the lady came home from work at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, left the dogs out in the barns. The gentleman whose lady was complaining he works night term. So he was sleeping from 8 o'clock to whenever, they woke him up. That's how it all started.
It's only happened one time,
This was the second time in 2 years.
so it's not constant.
It's not possible.
I think she's doing a great thing, don't get me
You know what, I have a copy of the lady who, Jacqueline, what's her name, Roman, and I'll give you a copy of this. I mean, once you read what she says, it's, I
It'd be
mean.
nice to have, be somewhere where there's 3 or 4 acres.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in Munhall that have more than the 3 domestic
Oh,
animals.
absolutely.
So if I do, I mean, if you really want me to press the issue, I mean, I know at least 3
I'm just
people
telling
that-
you, I'm telling you what she said.
Right.
I can't live with the agreement that we just came up with. I said, I'll talk to Dave, I'll talk to Bob, and let them know, I don't know what to tell you. But she can't trust this woman, she said, last year they had 16 dogs in the house.
15, 16 dogs the first time I went, 2 years ago.
Okay, so this week they had 8 dogs. So she says, I see puppies over there. I don't know if they're having puppies, I don't know what's going on over there, but I can't trust this woman to keep the neighborhood happy. So, I don't know what to tell you to do. It's not an easy situation, but she said, the woman who's complaining said, I'm ready to sell my house and move because my husband can't sleep during the day because of the dogs.
Well, even if she owned 3 dogs and the dogs bark,
Yeah, that way you do.
what do you do? Because dogs are permitted to bark during the day, as long as they don't. If-
Just saying. 8 dogs is a bit much.
Oh, absolutely.
It could be more than one.
So I don't know what to, I wanted to let you know.
That's fine, I mean, we did come to agreement.
I know that, and I figured you had it resolved, and I called her back, and she's not happy.
I had a similar question with different animals. About a woman, now we're talking about it because this, people hear about this, never know about this, and mine doesn't come up. But somebody up in the co-op that has 2 large boa constrictor snakes, I understand, and on top of that, they have mice that they feed them to, and a lot of mice. So this is in the co-op, you know. Have you heard about that one?
Snakes or
Yeah.
alligators.
You know, it's nice if someone's fostering a bunch of dogs, as long as you're not doing it next door to you. As soon as it's happened next door to you, it changes everything. So, it's a great thing, but
Okay, guys, sewer authority, I don't see Mr. Terry here, so guess there's no report on that. Turn our pages. Okay, I think the system is okay, motions, items for consideration, I believe we have 9. First one is motion to approve tax collectors on Mercury to attend the 57th annual convention of the Pennsylvania State Tax Collectors Association at York, Pennsylvania, from October 16th through 17th, 2015, at a total cost of $563.35 for room credits and registration plus travel reimbursement.
question.
First you need the motion.
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 Second.
Question on the motion.
Yeah.
We told people for years to come in and question the tax collector. What was going on with the tax collector, and we said, we have nothing, no jurisdiction over the tax collector, she's not an employee of the borough. What are we paying for anything? Anybody answer me? She's not employed, we have a policeman down here, he's an employee. She's not employed by the borough. She's a separate entity,
She's an elected official.
elected official, separate of the borough. She does her own thing. We told people had issues with her, and we said, hey, she's elected official, her own, we have no jurisdiction over her. What are we paying for this?
But she has to be considered, and that's why I put her.
Does the school
Right.
district have any?
What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, the borough code's clear, we're obligated, it's mandatory in the borough code, that the borough must pay for her supplies. So for example, it's postage, paper, and I don't have it in front of me, I haven't looked at it in some time, but it doesn't include this. So this will be your option, you can do it, you don't have to. Mandatory is the supplies, pardon me?
What's the cost of the school district?
Well, that's a good question, and it would make sense, but again, this is optional to you, you may do it, you don't have to, and it would make sense to ask the school to contribute. That's a valid point.
So can we make a motion that the school district pay half?
Well, we'd have to table what we have up here. Possibly,
Yeah,
we
we have
probably
to
would have to
table
table
this.
what we have here, and then make another motion
You got the question,
to
you
ask the school district if they would be willing to split it with
Well,
us.
can we just authorize half of it and then tell her, hey, get the other half from the school district?
Mr. Shields is questioning the whole thing.
I mean, it's, you know, the motion's on the floor as it is, I mean, we can vote on it as is now, or
We told people
If
for years,
there wants to be a change.
she's
to
not
ask
a
the
borough
school board
employee, she's
first
not part of it,
to
and
split, or we say, no, we don't do it. You know, that's, we have 3 choices what we can do here, as I can see.
Right.
One is no, one is table the motion, and actually it's 4, table the motion altogether until we talk to the school district, the other one is we put up half, and then tell her to go after the school district for the other half. And that would, as far as I can see, would be our choices, or the 4 choices would be, we just say we're paying for it.
Right.
Because once we pay this, there's really no ask from the school district then, probably.
No, that's.
Well, once the motion's out there that we pay for the whole thing,
I
the school
take it-
district is, they're gonna.
I take
you know,
it
they're
she
not
didn't
gonna-
approach the school district. I'm assuming.
Let's table the motion and, find out.
Okay, we need to,
I'll withdraw my motion. Table it.
Bob, can you ask Donna to, you know, tell her what the options are, and what I guess we're looking at here is to ask the school district to pick up half.
Okay.
Do you need a
But
motion to say
all the reservations have to be made by September 12th. That's in, yeah, I'm
What are your
just,
attachments on there?
yeah, it's in the attachment somewhere.
You can take a phone call, can't you?
As long as the public's on the other end of the speaker.
Said September 12th, the deadline to take advantage of the group rate. So if it's late, it's got to be more money.
Are you guys in agreement to pay for half?
I would do that.
Why don't she pay for it herself, then we'll see if we'll vote to reimburse her, how's that? She can put up the $516, go to the convention, and come back and we'll reimburse her. Right? We can vote on that way she won't miss the discount.
You do that,
But if you don't pay it.
or you could make a motion to vote to pay for half of it, and pay for half, and you don't.
If she pays it, you don't.
Either way.
Well, I'll have to make a motion, we table the motion, and, get in touch with her and find out, if she did approach the school district, we're willing to take up half of it, if the school district picks up the other.
I'd be willing to bet she did not. She asked us to pick up the whole cost,
I second your motion.
which was.
Table.
Motion on the floor to table the motion.
I withdrew my other motion already, so.
I think I agree with you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passed. Bob, can you, tell her result and, what we've done right now and see if there's another option.
Number 2, motion to approve Patrolman Jason Bonwaz to attend the 16th Annual East Coast Gang Investigators Association Training Conference from September 21st, 25th, 2015 at Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, at a cost of $635.20 for room registration and travel reimbursement.
Try this again. Motion.
Second.
Okay, any questions on?
Question,
Yes.
is Mr. Ponawaz an investigator?
That's.
Mr. Palmer was a patrol officer. We needed to send someone to this conference for the last few years. He was the only one willing to go for the past few years. He gets a lot of intelligence from the city intelligence unit, who always go to this. This would not be, when I signed off on this, I signed it to come out of our asset forfeiture funds, so it would not come out of any of our budgeted monies. Like I said, he's went to this probably the last 2
So this is
years.
gonna come out of forfeiture funds.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how I signed off on it. He paid out of deviation.
So, you don't
Tim,
pay.
question. He brings back good information all the time.
Absolutely.
This
There's
is the
a lot of
third
work
year that
well.
he's gone to this?
Probably probably the third year. Like I said, there's a lot of good intelligence we get back from that. We get ongoing intelligence through the city, through the intelligence unit, which we're looking forward.
Have you gone there yourself?
I have not.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays, no nays, motion carries.
Number 3, motion to approve the execution of a model memorandum of understanding between the Munhall Borough Police Department and the Propel Andrews Street High School, establishing procedures to be followed during certain incidents demanding police response, with such MOU to be effective upon mutual execution of the same. I think we may want to add something to that.
Subject to the changes being made recommended by the solicitor.
Right.
We get one of these every year from Still Valley and from Boro. They always try to slide some language in there that we cannot and will not agree to. We pass it along to Greg. Greg tells us what changes to make. We make those changes. We sign off on it. There's information that we're not allowed by law to share with anybody concerning the juvenile. That's why we make those changes. Every year they ask for more information than we're allowed to give. That's why we make the wording changes.
Motion?
Okay, motion by, I'll vote it in. Second by Mr. Ballas. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Aye. Nays? Motion carries.
Number 4, motion to accept the 2014 general fund audit was prepared by Mark Turnley, CPA, and as submitted to council mayor on July 15, 2015, and further reviewed with Mark Turnley by the finance committee on August 4, 2015.
Motion?
Second.
Question,
Question on the motion?
I have a question.
Okay, Mayor.
There's some amounts in there from the engineer and also from the solicitor's point of view that I really don't understand. They're pretty heavy. If anybody has looked at it, I don't have it here with me.
We questioned him that night about that.
I think we
Right.
He gave us a good
We're still waiting
explanation.
for an answer.
Yeah, but we're still waiting for an answer for that, especially the legal
I
fees.
think that's
The legal tax service and the solicitor are kind of bunched together, and
that's changed in
It's an awful heavy
2015.
amount.
we're looking,
Yeah.
it's not on the solicitor,
That wasn't his legal fees.
and it's
It
not
was
on Graham's.
$365,000.
Oh, my lord, I don't.
That was not you.
We have 40,000 budgeted, so that's
There's
$325,000.
no way, I'm not even anywhere.
That's
No,
not-
I know that, but they're in
We
there,
actually-
they had questions.
You're only
We
about a
actually
quarter
picked
of
it
a
up in the
million.
meeting.
And the engineer also is, that's pretty, that's like double. That's just, me and my picky ways, I gotta.
We did question him that night about it. He
Yeah.
told the way it was categorized, it was our bookkeeping that made it that, how the outcome come that way.
It was deferred 2013 throughout.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah,
that's
something.
fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he was here, we did question him. He's, believe me, the years I've been here, that was the most thorough audit I've ever personally seen.
Looked good to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that was the best I've seen in
Yeah.
10 years that I've been sitting here.
wow, it was really
That
good.
book, man. Actually, I think that was the first time I think I ever sat down with the auditor.
First time I ever had.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah,
I was impressed with him. I thought he did a good job, and the information he gave us was very helpful.
Engineering is under
Okay, I believe we have a motion, a second.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
that.
Nays? No, motion passes unanimously.
Number 5, motion to accept the 5-year capital improvement plan as prepared by the Munhall Local Government Academy intern and further reviewed with council by the manager on July 15th, and further submitted to council for review and comment. Again, that's a evolving fluid document that changes every year, so it's always 5 years, and we haven't had a capital improvement plan for a long time. This is a great exercise and would be used for as a basis of our 2016 budget in relation to infrastructure repairs.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Comment,
Vote there.
once again, bond issue may be something that is lurking in our future. Just something that after I look through here, that, you know, with the huge amounts that are in, yes, just, you know, my council, that's probably in our future.
And how I see it, the capital improvement plan is a dialogue that, how to follow it. You try to follow it, but again, of course, there's things that come up that a year from now or 2 years from now that for some reason all the capital improvement plan won't fit in possibly. And we try to keep to it then. It's a blueprint, right. Okay, we have motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion passes.
Number 6, motion to advertise ordinance 1573, authorizing Munhall Borough to enter into an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the Steel Valley Council of Governments, amending previous intergovernmental cooperation agreement, holding waterfront tax increment financing district funds toward the repair, replacement, and maintenance of publicly owned property within the TIF district. We do have one, we need to amend one for new activity that's going to occur in the waterfront relative to security cameras. And we've been advised that we need to adopt a new ordinance and then enter into the intergovernmental agreement with the TIF folks as well as our 2 neighbors both Homestead and West Homestead have already adopted their ordinance.
Greg, have you looked this over?
Yeah, I did. This is similar to what we've already done. I don't know why they wanted it
What's
again.
the
But yeah, I have reviewed it. This is the agreement that everyone came to. There's a committee comprised of the three council presidents, and it has to be unanimous on any spending of TIF funds, which is community funds within the waterfront district, for the projects. So you can't be outvoted, so that's the unanimous agreement. That's the procedure in place.
Okay, does it make it easier if, the way it was before, that if you didn't spend the funds, number it went into an account and you weren't able to get into that account the next year? And that's why we had over 800,000 in it the last
Yeah,
time?
well, that, of course, that was all spent on paving.
Yes, yeah, I know that.
So now we're just gonna have, we're not gonna ever have that much again.
Okay.
Whatever the annual amount comes in, 100 and some thousand, it'll most likely gonna get spent each year, I guess. Like, you won't see that build up, because it's coming to an end soon also.
Yes, 18.
So, yeah, that problem won't happen again, as far as I can envision.
So this motion is to advertise, so the next meeting.
I think why that's coming about, we met with, the DA's office and the waterfront regarding putting different cameras, license plate recognition
Yeah,
cameras
that's
on there.
what Paul would say.
And there's a annual maintenance fees that come with that, so that's gonna help fund that.
But they're putting more cameras, and we already have 2 or 3 cameras like that
There
now?
will be, a little more state of the art, and there's gonna be a couple more areas covered that are covered now.
Will we be able to access them? Our guys be able to access them?
Once it's back up and running, we can access it,
Okay.
cars from in the station.
I mean, you can live time it or?
Yes.
Okay.
First, month and a half ago.
So we have a motion? Did we make a motion on this yet? Motion by Bernie Shields,
Second.
second by Mr. Ballas. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion passes unanimously.
Number 7, motion to waive Munhall Borough permit fees for chairlift installation at St. Teresa Church.
Motion.
Second.
We've done this in the past. This is.
Yeah, this is,
Following through what we've done in the past.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 8, motion to pay bills for the period July 16, 2015 through August 12, 2015, summarized as follows. Administration, $14,565.17. Release, $39,369.30. Fire, $4,875.20. Health and sanitation, $13,441.98. Public Works, $7,613.68. Recreation, $2,622.08. Debt service, $97. Miscellaneous, $58,678.88, for a total of $141,263.29.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion on the floor, second, Mr. Farmer, all in favor?
Aye.
No, we have 4.
Okay.
I count.
Okay.
I've already stepped out, I count. Okay, motion passes.
Number 9, motion to approve payroll for the period of July 30th, 15 through August 13th, 15 as follows. July 30th, $117,298.20. August 13th, $111,823.27, for a total of $229,121.47.
Motion. Second. Third.
Motion on the floor, second. Payment of bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? No. Motion passes. Okay, one thing that I'd like to mention, wait for our public comments, is we're working on our community day still. We're hard at work on our community day, which will be this year in conjunction with the Carnegie Library of Homestead in Munhall, as I refer to it as. Everything is going pretty good. It's gonna be a good day, October 3rd. a little different we've done in the past. It's gonna run from 11 to 6, starting with the Olympics. We're gonna have entertainment, we're gonna have games, we're gonna have things for the kids. We're also gonna have vendors. We're being trying to be a very business-friendly vendor time this year, where we're gonna asking a lot of the businesses on 8th Avenue and all through Munhall, asking them to participate. We're charging a little more, so we're going through the businesses, see if we can charge a little more for booths, so we're not much in the hole. Some donations are starting to come in, letters have went out. Munhall has put up $2,000, and the Carnegie Library has matched that at $2,000. That's $2,000, so we have $4,000 startup money plus some donations coming in. Joe's been attending, Rick's been at a meeting, Rich, Bob's been attending meetings. Anybody else wants to attend and help out, we can still use it. And of course, our rec board has been a big help for that too. We've got some of them involved.
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is August 31st, and we're having them at the library at 6:30. Okay, that's all I have. Anybody else? Other public comments on non-agenda items? Robert Wolf, sewer and stormwater systems. Thank you, Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Basically, I live on Munhall Drive, on the west side, the dead end side. And for about the last 7 years, Munhall sewer system keeps backing up during heavy rains. And it basically lifts the manhole cover off its base, and water pours into the house. And we've ridden the borough on a number of occasions, and we did make one attempt to fix it back in, I believe it was 2011, but it's done it several times since. I'm just wondering if you can correct the problem, or at least move the manhole cover, so when it does erupt, it's not so close to the house, and it floods the house.
We can, Public Works Director.
Pricey.
We're out of
This is the manhole, we would probably have to install a bigger pipe. We installed a 10-inch pipe about 6-7 years ago. We have these big ranges coming in on the waters. My suggestion is with the engineering walls, try to subcontract it out with a bigger pipe. That's my suggestion.
Now, is there anything going on in this now legally?
We had a
Legal
hearing
matter
about
that
2
we
months
can't,
ago.
we really can't have much on this time.
We had a hearing 2 months ago,
No.
okay? And it happened, and the sewer pipe backed up again in mid-June, June 14th. The hearing was found that is done. We lost the hearing, okay? So there's no legal thing going on right now unless I file another lawsuit, which, since it flooded again, and it is a public nuisance, and the borough is responsible for maintaining the sewer system in a way to not interfere with the landowner's property, I have the option to do that. That's actually my mother's property, so she'd have to do it. But I'm kind of tired of cleaning up sewer water in the basement, and I'd like to have it fixed, and I'd like to have it fixed correctly.
Question.
I've written the borough on this a number of occasions, and I can't seem to get it resolved.
You refer to it as sewer water or sewer, if it's a sewer line, it would be the sewer authority's manhole.
Well,
It's stormwater.
it seems to be a storm water, however, I heard some workers through the grapevine saying it's a combination. And we have contacted the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection and the County Health Department, who are supposedly looking into it, as to whether it is a stormwater or a combination. But that was a couple of, that was in past letters, so I haven't heard anything back from them.
There is no combination of source out of the town.
Well, that's what they say, however.
There isn't.
Well, all right, that's
They're all
what
below
you
the
say.
cemetery.
I'm just saying,
I
I've
hear
heard,
it all.
I've heard from other people, from people who have looked in there, that it may be a combination. I'm just stating what I've heard.
Right.
I'm not saying one way or another.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we know, I think we're, we know about this, there's really not much we can comment on right now on it.
I could say generally, I've been here for a lot of problem happens a lot all over the place. And generally because the storm sewer systems all over Allegheny County are inadequate to take the storm water. And the problem is nobody has $1 billion to replace all these stormwater sewer systems, and legally they don't have to. The legal obligation of every borough, every municipality is to keep them clean. And if they do so, the water can get in. You do have to do that. But if there's too much storm water coming from the skies and they overflow, there's no legal liability to the borough. The only way to fix it is to tear up every single street and just don't have that kind of money. That's the problem. So I think everyone sympathizes with you. And it's not just your mom's house, there are other properties that we've had litigation with here on the same subject. It's unfortunate.
Also, they made an attempt to repair it back in 2011, put in a 10-inch pipe. The borough ordinance says the pipe should be at least 15 inches. And that's ordinance number 379.3. Now, we put in a 10-inch pipe and it should be at least 15 inches. It sounds like the pipe is inadequate and it should fix it right the first time.
I don't know what ordinance you're talking about.
Well, it's posted on the website, Munhall ordinance number 379.3. You can look it up if you like, I've already looked it up.
Well,
It's an adoption of a Pennsylvania statute that the Department of Environmental Protection has, pretty much the same verbiage.
this is for stormwater?
Yes.
I'm not familiar with it. We could look at it. I don't know of any requirements for stormwater piping. I don't know when this was put in. You're giving history. I don't know anything about it. I was just speaking to you generally about the condition of many municipalities and the problems we have. Those specifics I don't know. Someone would have to look at it. You're alleging there's an ordinance violation. I don't think we'd be bound by it anyway, unfortunately, but I don't know the history of what was done there.
Well, it is the borough's sewer system, and you should have a duty to maintain your sewer system in a way as not to interfere with another's property.
Well, we have a duty to keep it clean, but we can't control the amount of rain that falls, and if people's property flood due to heavy storms and heavy rain. We can't control what comes out of the
Well,
sky.
that's true. You can't control the
And
size of
it
the
happens.
property.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm saying. I'd just like to get the problem solved, because it's been going on since like 2007, and I'm getting tired of cleaning up the stormwater. That's basically, all I wanted to request. I do have pictures of it, I have sent letters down here, I have copies of the letters if you want them. But, that's basically.
So can we send somebody or a street department or somebody to go out and check it and make sure there is the proper line in there, or the proper diameter sewer line?
We'd have to make sure it's clean.
Yeah, is it been cambered lately? Price, you know,
That's what we're saying, it's not the.
last year cambered and cleaned.
It has to be clean, that's all we have to do.
Yeah, he said it was cambered and cleaned last year.
Does it run right down your driveway?
It's not, it's in the front of the house, the manhole cover is actually on the border, on the neighbor's property. When it lifts up, the water, it's a slight slope, so it pours towards the porch, the well vents there, the water pours into the basement.
They do make manholes that have locks on them, you know?
Well, it's a borough manhole cover, it's the beauty of the borough's job to maintain it, it's locked.
Lock that manhole, start somewhere else.
Right?
That starts blowing pipes.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, backs up.
Well, it's already backing up.
Nah, they close pipes.
I really don't know what we can do at this time, other than, the solicitor advised us today that we are mandated to keep it clean.
We have to do that. I know your mom's upset about this, and she, as you're aware, she sued us, and I didn't represent the borough because we have insurance for these claims, and these same points that I'm making to you were made to a panel of judges, and they understood the law, that there's no legal liability here. It's an unfortunate situation for your mom and others that have the same problem, so. And I know she's written another letter, and we had to turn that over to the insurance company as well. So that is somewhat out of our hands, because we have insurance to handle the complaints of the nature that you're raising. And we were contacted by the DEP, I responded to them, it's not I think they were led to believe it was a sanitary sewer issue, which I am informed from all the borough officials is not at all. So that may end their involvement, but I haven't heard from them.
Thank you. I actually don't see the next man, Michael Aldridge, not here.
No, we have
Mike Aldridge,
Not on the agenda, but you can
I know, but
say
Mike
something.
Aldridge
You've
was
been here
late
before.
today, and I did call Becky this afternoon, and, well, actually, around lunchtime, and I wanted to be heard this evening for Mike, if that would be all right.
You want to speak for Mike?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
If you're speaking
You
for
have to
Mike,
tell us who you are, though, and
I'm Nancy
name and
Cass.
address.
if you're speaking for Mike, you're gonna holler and raise your hand and scream like this, that's how Mike does it, just like.
Points of
But I'm not
fingers.
gonna do
Points of
that.
fingers.
Okay, 21241 Walnut Street, Munhall.
Okay, did you get that, Becky?
Got
Can you repeat that for Becky, please?
2124 Walnut Street, Munhall. What he had wanted to talk to you about was possibly getting put on for the agenda for 2016, so that we could possibly get money. $5,000 is what we're asking
Who's
for.
we?
Maps.
Okay.
There we go, we didn't do that.
I was going to say that in a few seconds.
Yeah, we could discuss that at the budget meeting.
I would appreciate
And
it.
those are open to, budget meetings are open. Residents can attend
And when
budget
is the
meetings.
budget meeting?
Well, we don't have it scheduled yet. That'll be up to
Okay.
the chair of the Budget Finance Committee to set the first.
I think that'd be money well spent.
I agree.
I agree.
I think we get off cheap.
Well, I think it would be money very well spent because of the fact that I think we do a good service to Munhall, and I think that we are able to be able to supply Munhall with good service. And I think that's what we need. And I think we've done that in the past, and I think we'll continue to do that. So I would appreciate it, and I would appreciate it if you'd let me know when the budget meeting is,
The budget meetings will be advertised once they're established. It will be a series of meetings.
all right,
One will be devoted to public safety, one will be devoted to public works, one will be devoted to several other issues. They'll be advertised and posted on the website as well as the building. They have not been established yet. Probably end of September into December.
I would say you would want to attend the public safety one, I imagine. Bob, right, would be the one for maps.
public
Or-
safety.
The public safety budget, the part of the budget meeting when they talk about public safety would be the one that you're welcome to come to any of them. But
Okay,
that would be the one that would most interest Maps to.
okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay, looks like that's, anybody have anything else?
I have a question, and this is just a comment. Item 10 that we just discussed from Mr. Wolf and Michael Aldridge, why don't we put them up in the other front of the meeting, so
That was-
Mr. Wolf wouldn't have
Yeah,
to sit.
that was decided by the president of council,
It used to be.
and the president has, the
He sets the agenda.
president sets the agenda, and that's the way he has decided to do it, but with Bob, I guess.
We could, before we amended the agenda, we had 7 people at the beginning, we decided to put them at the end, because we didn't know what all the issues were, how long it would take. So I talked to several other people, and I got things resolved that they did not have to come to the meeting.
What we can also do, Greg, and everybody, we can, if we do see there's 2 on, and we wanna make a change at the beginning of the meeting, say, hey, can we waive the procedure and put the public comments first, and then we can do that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the chair.
I'm just thinking it was a courtesy
Not to say they're all-
for these
all meetings.
Right, we could have done it that tonight, nobody, I guess, picked it up, but we could have done that and had them go early, it would have been a nice courtesy to them, you're right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yes. Thank you, okay. Meeting adjourned, thank you. I'm gonna make sure Karen has, that's what they already said. She may help
Don't worry, I won't.
I won't be in the morning. Be around.